Step into this river and you are already dead. You just don't know it yet. 15 meters long, a sail of bone standing off its spine. The largest land predator that ever lived had gone somewhere no dinosaur belonged. The water. And 100 years later, we still argue about what it became down there. You have seen this animal before. In a movie, snapping a T-Rex's neck like a twig. That version was a lie. The real Spinosaurus was stranger than any monster we invented. 100 million years ago, North Africa was not desert. It was water, a sprawling maze of rivers and tidal channels across a green, humid coast. And those rivers were stocked with monsters of their own. Sawfish longer than a canoe, lungfish, coelacanths, sharks swimming in fresh water. For a predator willing to get its feet wet, this was a larder no other giant dinosaur could reach. Evolution rarely ignores an open door. Something was pulling it toward the water, and its body was about to answer, starting with its skull. The transformation began at the mouth. Where a T-Rex crushed bone, Spinosaurus grew the opposite, a long, narrow jaw studded with smooth, conical teeth. Not blades for slicing flesh, hooks for gripping something slippery. This was not a face built to fight, it was a face built to fish. And we have found one of these animals with its last meal still inside it. Baryonyx, the English cousin, fish scales half dissolved by stomach acid, and the bones of a young iguanodon lying in the same gut. The skull kept going too. The nostrils had migrated halfway up it, so the animal could breathe with its snout underwater. Packed into the tip of that snout, pressure sensors, the same gear a crocodile uses to feel a fish move in the dark. And the mouth was only the beginning. The whole body was rearranging itself. We should have known all of this a century ago. When Ernst Stromer's team pulled the first bones from Egypt's Baharia Formation in 1912, they found a giant with a crocodile's grin and a wall of bone rising from its spine. He named it Spinosaurus. Then history turned cruel. In 1944, an Allied bombing raid over Munich burned those only known bones to ash. For 70 years, the largest carnivore in history survived as a sketch. Nizar Ibrahim unveiled a new skeleton from Morocco's Kemkem beds in 2014, the one that handed back that fishing face. And the same bones were hiding something stranger, below the neck. If you had watched it walk, something would have looked wrong. The hind legs were too short, the body too long, the weight slung forward like a loaded barge. On land, awkward. In water, lethal. Run your thumb down one of its bones and you'd feel it. Dense, solid, almost no hollow core. Ibrahim's team found Spinosaurus had packed its skeleton with heavy bone, the way a diver straps on a weight belt. Light bones float. This one was built to sink, to slip under the surface and stay there. And then came the single bone that ended the argument. For a century, everyone assumed Spinosaurus had an ordinary tail, thin, stiff, tapering, like every big theropod before it. They were wrong. In 2020, Ibrahim's team lifted more than 30 tailbones from the Moroccan rock and laid them across 5 tables. What they formed was not a tail. It was a paddle, deep, flat, flexible, edged with spines almost as tall as a person. A scale model of it dropped into flowing water, drove side to side like a crocodile's, and generated real thrust. The largest predatory dinosaur ever found had a swimming hook bolted to its spine. Add the great sail on its back, and the river monster was finally whole. For a few million years, Spinosaurus ruled the deadliest wetland the world has known. The Kemkem rivers fed not one giant carnivore, but several. more predators packed together than any land alive could feed. And here, I have to be straight with you. We know what Spinosaurus looked like. We still fight about how it hunted. Nizar Ibrahim sees an underwater pursuit predator chasing fish below the surface. Paul Sereno, Donald Henderson, and David Hone see a wading giant, too buoyant to dive, snatching prey from the shallows. Then, in 2026, Sereno's team pulled a brand new species from Niger, far inland, hundreds of miles from any shore, and reopened everything. The fossils haven't settled it. Maybe they never will. Spinosaurus did not die with the other dinosaurs. It was already gone, vanishing from the record around 94 million years ago, nearly 30 million years before the asteroid ever fell. No fireball ended this one. Its world did. As the seas shifted and North Africa's great rivers reorganized, the endless larder that built the river monster began to close. A specialist tuned to one vanishing world rarely gets a second. But imagine it had held on. Picture a 15-meter hunter with a crocodile's senses cruising a river today. Surfacing beside your boat, that sail cutting the water like the fin of something that should not exist. Nothing in any river on Earth would be safe. And at last, we would get to watch how it hunts. The river monster is only one experiment in water. The fossil record is full of giants that turned their backs on the land and walked into the sea, and never came back. Next time, we follow another one down. 2 new stories every week, right here. It walked, then it waded, then it swam. The only giant predator that ever traded solid land for open water. A century of digging on, and we are still not sure what we found.